Hello, everybody in video land. Let's get our radio guys going here. Hello, everybody in radio land. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, geez, I better put up the volumes here. There you go. John's in. I'm in. Radio going. Video going. My name is Paul Kalamir. This is HABSOLUTELY coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. I'm here with my co-host.
Bonjour, mes amis. Jean-Louis Filion, ici.
There he is. He's there. I'm here. You're there. Too bad. You should be here with us because we're going to have a good time. We have lots of great stuff to talk about today. I'm telling you.
We always have a good time.
I know we do. But today is going to be a real celebration because we've had a hell of a week with our Habs.
In bonne semaine.
This is a meatloaf week, but this time.
I was thinking that yesterday. I go, it's really a meatloaf week.
It is
but there's like extra sauce.
That's, you know what? You read my mind. I got a la carte extra point because of the shootout loss to the Stars. We get a point for that. And by the way,
it's a saucy meatloaf week.
That's it. And you're not going to understand how important that point is to us as we move into March.
C'est très important.
It really is. That point is gonna weigh huge for us. Believe me. So that point was important, especially against the Dallas Stars, who I think they whooped the Toronto Maple Leafs last night.
The who? The Toronto who?
That Toronto. They need.
They still have a team.
They're trying to get an NHL club.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea up in Toronto.
They had one when we were like 60 years ago. They had one.
Yeah, but not anymore.
I haven't seen it for
some
time.
That point is going to be huge. Remember this game, John.
Je me souviens.
Oh yeah, you got to remember it because I'm going to tell you somewhere down the road. We're going to need that point. And a lot of teams aren't going to get that point against Dallas.
Well, that's the difference this year than last year, right? Last year, we were collecting some of those points, okay? And maybe sometimes too many points because we weren't getting 2 points. We were only getting 1. So the fact that we played 3 games, we secured 2 points on 2 of those games and 1 point on the other game, 5 points out of 6, c'est magnifique.
Yeah, and I think we're 10 out of 13, so that's 20 points plus 1 for the game. So 10 out of 13, we could have got 26. We got 21. You tell me what percentage that is. That's like 80%.
And before, we would have been lucky to get 50%.
Oh, yeah.
We were probably averaging 40%.
Yeah, we were losing those 1-goal games.
Or we were only getting 1 point. We were never getting the 2.
Never getting the 2 in overtime.
So this week would have been a year ago, maybe a 2-point week.
Yeah.
Okay. And that would have been 2 ties.
Sad to think about that, but yeah.
But true.
It's true. It's true. So I'm so happy this week, and we're going to talk about the games later, guaranteed. But right for now, I'm seeing something here that I never saw before with the Habs in the last few years. I got one word for it, and that's consistency. We're consistently playing good games with people chipping in that maybe you never expected to. Guys that we thought were going to be great players at some point in their career with the Montreal Canadiens, which is why Hughes picked them up in the first place. Guys like Doc and Newsom, they're starting to produce, and not only are they starting to produce, they're starting to produce consistently, and that's what we need.
I think last year we were consistently playing poor.
Bad.
Okay? So I think we were consistent last year as well. It just wasn't the way we wanted to be consistent.
It wasn't a happy consistent.
But now the team is very productive, and to me, the big takeaway is that you feel that whatever game you can win.
Yeah, well, I feel like we're in every game. Like there's no
absolutely.
There's no game. I don't care if it was against Dallas and they tied it up and now they're going to go. No, I don't feel that way. I think if we get down a goal, we don't get down in our spirit. We just go out there and we're like mosquitoes. We keep pestering and pestering.
We actually
until we get one.
We led the Dallas game.
Yeah, we had a 1-0 lead.
We scored the first goal.
And then they tied it. But last year when they tied it like that, on a team like Dallas, I think the morale was different. Culture, if you want.
Attitude, everything is different now.
And I mean, Patrick Liney's back.
So many things are different.
So many things are happening. Like with Liney, he got his first 5-on-5 goal, which is, man, I mean,
which was last night.
Yeah, if he can start packing them in, that'd be great because he's only been a power play specialist. But now we're seeing him, start to do it on 5-on-5, and everybody's starting to really meld together.
Well,
and we talked about this, that second line,
second line,
Newhook, and Doc, and we said this line could end up outscoring the first line. What happened last night?
They did last night.
Yeah, they got 3 goals.
3 goals for that line. That's pretty nice.
And so our dreams and our hopes and our predictions are starting to come true. And I can't ask for any more. I don't think anybody can ask for any more than this team.
Well, I think we can. And I think slowly we will get more. And
we are.
And that's what I believe. We're working towards that. I mean, I think we're still in the early stages. But, I mean, it's great to see productivity. It's great. It's like a graph, and you see it slow, like, the graph, the line is going up, up, up. And that's what we enjoy right now.
Yeah, like my cryptocurrency.
Excellent. Très bien.
Okay.
Thank you to Elon.
Yeah, thank you to Ethereum and
Mr. Musk.
XRP and everybody else, and Mr. Musk. And now we got January 20th coming. So I love it.
Is there a hockey game that day? Do we play on the 20th?
I don't know, but...
Well, what are we talking about? We're talking absolutely here.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of other worldly events that are going to affect a lot of stuff.
Well, that big tournament of Canada and Finland and
I don't even want
USA,
to think about that, please.
That's not until February.
Please, we had a player hit by a car. We don't need him hit by a truck in one of those useless series. They should cancel them.
Lesson learned, keep the players locked in their hotel, just like they do when you play NFL games in Brazil.
No fooling around. No fooling around. Okay, so Habs trivia.
Yes.
Okay, Habs trivia. I got a good one.
You always do.
I got a good one here. So, the Hockey Hall of Fame opened in 1945.
Okay.
And 2 Montreal Canadian players were first inducted into the Hall in that first year.
Wow.
Those 2 players were Howie Morenz.
Yes.
And George Vezina.
Great inductions.
There you go, right? 2 of the greatest players ever in the NHL.
Do you know how many players were inducted that year?
I think about 7 or 8.
Okay.
The names I could give you, I would have written them down, but you wouldn't recognize them anyway. So I just took the Habs players that were inducted the first year in 1945 and put them in there, but there was 7 or 8 of them.
Howie and George, they're very familiar names.
Yeah, like if you're a Canadiens fan and you don't know who George Vezina or Howie Morenz is.
There's a trophy called the Vezina Trophy. I mean, come on.
You got to go back to school. You got to go back to Habs school if you don't know those guys. But my question is, who was the last Habs player that played for the Habs to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I know. I think.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you some choices here, right? Okay, and I think a lot of people will know this, but maybe some of the old timers won't. Or some of the
c'est possible, but if you're currently watching the Montreal Canadiens, you should know.
You should know. Okay, number 1, Guy Carbonneau.
Oh, Guy Carbonneau, like the captain of captains.
Number 2, Mark Recchi, Dr. Mark Recchi.
Mark Recchi, eh? Mark Recchi, I mean, he's not somebody I always would think about being a Montreal Canadian, but...
Well, I liked Mark Recchi, but then I hated him because he was the one that said Pacioretty was faking it when after Chara ran him into that stanchion and knocked him out of hockey for a while. And he said, he was fine. He was faking it. He was faking it. And after that, I didn't like Mark Recchi anymore. So I call him Dr. Recchi, like he's some kind of a doctor.
Doctor, give me the bad news.
Yeah, give me the bad news. The bad news is you're a jerk. After that. And the third one, number 3, Rogatien Vachon.
Rogatien Vachon. Fabulous goaltender.
And number 4, Shea Weber.
Shea Weber. Shea Weber, I mean, if there's one guy who, and he goes in with the Carbonneau, Carbonneau gave everything to hockey. He put it out there every game, 100%. He never left anything off the ice. He put everything out on the ice.
Yeah, he did.
And Shea Weber played like that as well. And you know, and I have a special little place in my heart. There's so many little places in my heart, but I have a little place in my heart for Monsieur Weber because he put it all out on the ice, and he really, I mean, he didn't leave well. You know, he didn't leave the game of hockey well. I mean, he unfortunately, I don't think can actually play hockey to the ability he left it in. You know, and so he tried everything in his capacity to bring home a Stanley Cup 3 years ago for Les Bleu Blanc et Rouge with our great honoree of, you know, our great goaltender Carey Price, who we'll speak about a little later.
And he
and so I love Shea Weber.
And he actually got injured. He was injured in that series.
Yes.
And still him and Petrie
Played through.
Yeah, played right through it. And that probably ended his career right there. He never played up to that.
It definitely did. Yeah. Without a doubt.
So that are your choices. Let's see out there in video land. Number 1, who was the guy who won the last, or who got elected to the Hall of Fame? The last player elected to the Hall of Fame for the Montreal Canadiens. Played for the Canadiens. Guy Carbonneau, Mark Recchi, Roger Tiamvashio, or Shea Weber? What do you think out there?
We know one thing we know is that it wasn't George Vezina and Howie Lorenz because they went in the first year.
Exactly. And it wasn't Jean Beliveau.
You know, and I didn't realize, you know, to be honest with you, I never really realized the Hockey Hall of Fame didn't exist until 1945.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, that's
when I didn't know that that's when it first started.
That's when they started electing players to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Now, the actual building, you know, might not have existed right away. I don't know. They had to put them somewhere.
That I don't know either. Have you? I have a question for you, Mon ami.
No. The answer is no right away. The Great Karnak. No.
Oh, my question was: have you ever been to the Hockey Hall of Fame?
No. I've never been there in Toronto, and it's just down the street here too. I should really go. Because they got the Habs dressing room, I heard, in there.
We will go one day.
I got to go.
We have to go.
And one day see it, especially the Habs dressing room.
We have to go. Now, I will tell you that I visited the Hockey Hall of Fame
last week.
Back in 1965, I'm going to say.
Was it in Toronto?
It was in Toronto.
Okay.
But it wasn't where it currently resides.
Where is it now? On Yonge Street or somewhere?
It's right at front and Yonge.
Yeah.
When I visited the Hockey Hall of Fame, it was at the Canadian National Exhibition.
Oh, okay, on the lake. Yes.
And my good friend Marcus Klein, who I used to play a lot of road hockey with before I met you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we would have been in like grade school back then. And I hadn't met you to high school. Yeah. And so Marcus had gone away for a summer holiday. And his parents were kind enough to invite me to journey with them up to Toronto to pick Marcus up at the airport. And Mr. Klein, his father Julius, said, "John, I would like to take you to the CNE, and you're going to get an opportunity to visit the Hockey Hall of Fame."
Wow. How nice.
So nice.
How nice.
So very, very nice.
Wow. Yeah. Big thrill, man.
Oh.
Yeah, I know Marcus. He's a great guy. And he married another one of our school chums.
One of our friends from Stanford Collegiate Vocational Institute.
Yeah, Linda Martin. And
shout outs to Linda.
Yeah, if she's possibly
I'm sure she's listening.
Yeah, well, maybe MSL can tell her. I know Martin St. Louis listens. Anyway, so the answer is
number 4, Shea Weber.
Wow, he did that fast.
C'est vite.
Well, let's see what the true answer is.
Okay.
The true answer is number 4, Shea Weber.
C'est bon.
Guy Carbonneau was inducted in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, I figured he would be in there way before that.
Well, he played for, after he finished with the Habs, he played for Dallas, right?
Did he play into the 80s?
80s. He played into the 90s.
Did he?
Guy Carbonneau?
Yeah, for Dallas, yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, who else? Mark Recchi was inducted in 2017, and Rogie Vachon in 2016.
Wow, that's a late induction for Rogie when you think about it. But Rogie also, I think, might currently still be working in the head office capacity for the LA Kings.
Possible. Yeah, that's possible for sure.
Because I mean, he when they did expansion in the expansion draft, he became. I got to be careful with this now. I know. Let's put it this way: he eventually played for the Los Angeles Kings as a goaltender.
Yes, he did. He did.
He might not have got an expansion.
In a huge, very controversial blockbuster trade on June 29th, 2016, the Montreal Canadiens traded their star defenseman P.K. Subban for the Nashville Predators' star defenseman Shea Weber, and also the captain of the Nashville Predators. Weber was selected second round in number 49 in the 2003 draft by Nashville. Spent 11 seasons with the team, spent 6 seasons as the captain. He was known for his powerful slap shot and defensive abilities. Weber won the hardest shot event at the NHL skills competition 4 times during his career. He was a beast on the blue line, and we saw that many times.
A force to be reckoned with.
His junior hockey was played in the WHL, and Kelowna Rockets finally signing a 3-year, $1.425 entry-level contract with the Preds in 2004. As one of their most important players, he signed a $13.5 million 3-year contract in 2008, and 2 years later was named captain of the team. His journey as a Habs started when fan favorite P.K. Subban, and fans did love him, and he did so much for Montreal.
And still does.
And Mimi Beliveau loves P.K. Subban.
P.K. is still contributing to the city.
Great guy. For some bizarre reason, they traded him for Weber. Weber was older at the time. I remember he was in his 30s, maybe 32, and Subban was a little younger. So I guess Montreal was thinking they're going to get an all-star defenseman and make a stab at something big. Whereas the Predators were saying, hey, we'll keep this guy for a while. But they didn't keep Subban for long. Subban had this knack for kind of showboating and hot dogging.
A little controversial at times.
Yeah, and I think teams just got tired of it, and they moved him around. I know Montreal, that's probably why they got rid of him. We didn't get rid of him because he's not a good hockey player. He was.
He was a force as well, for sure.
Now, he got injured when he started with the Habs and skated only 26 games the 1 year.
We're talking Shea Weber.
He was named captain in 2018 after Patches was dispatched. See what I did there? Dispatched Patches. That's Max Pacioretty for those who don't know nicknames. To Vegas, but did not join the team on the ice till the end of November due to another injury. His biggest year with the Habs was in 2021 during COVID, when the Habs made it to the Stanley Cup final with Weber, playing injured for most of the series. Played a key role on D to get the team there. The injuries were so severe, the team determined he could not play for the 21-22 season. And
he wasn't fit.
He wasn't fit, and the possibility of early retirement. So they traded him off for salary cap, because teams do have to meet the minimum salary cap. They traded him off, and I don't think he played another game.
He never played another game.
He was traded in 2022. The contract was traded to Vegas in exchange for Evgeny Dadonov. Did we ever see Dadonov play on the team?
Can't recall.
I don't think so. I don't remember the name. He might have. Somebody can correct us. Vince Hudon. We're going to stick Vince Hudon on this question.
Do some homework for us, please.
That's right.
S'il vous plaît.
And he amassed 224 NHL goals, 365 assists for a total of 589 points. Won 2 Olympic golds for Canada. He never did win a Norris Trophy, though. As wild as that seems.
He had a stellar career.
Yeah. He was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in June of 2024. That's our last player for the Habs that did that.
I mean,
so there you go.
Yeah, and the funny story that I recently discovered, because of there's a lot of news on Shea earlier this year when he was inducted, was the fact that he was very sad and disappointed when he was drafted or when he was traded to the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, I heard that before.
And then slowly, as he came to Montreal and he started to meet people within the organization and spend some time with them, as well as discover the fan base of L'équipe de Canadienne, he realized what an amazing opportunity this was to play in really the home of hockey, Montreal.
Yeah, and it's funny is like that's the one thing about Montreal, man. When the fans love you, they love you.
There's no better place to play
That's right.
than Montreal if you're playing hockey.
And I'll tell you the truth. I think like Subban always missed being with Montreal. That was his dream to play for Montreal.
PK still comes back
all the time,
watches games, and still is generous with his philanthropy towards the city of Montreal.
Yeah,
kudos to PK.
Yeah, I still love the guy. And
how could you not?
He goes to the hospitals. And like I say,
he shares his time.
Mimi Belleville loves the kid. He goes and visits her all the time. I mean, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Say truly magnifique.
You never lose that Habs tattoo once you play for the Habs.
Never.
No matter where you go. Okay, some video comments.
Oh, and by the way, to all of our audience, thank you for supporting us. Yeah. Thank you for liking us.
Yeah.
Thank you for sending in comments.
Yes.
And share our show with your HABSOLUTELY fans.
Subscribe. What's the matter with you?
Okay, merci beaucoup.
How can you not subscribe to this channel?
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Vince Houdon says that the reason Dryden took the year off in 73-74 was because of a contract dispute. Now, we were talking about him taking it off that year, and our quiz last week, our question was about that. And
I understand that that's the way it's written in Wikipedia. But at the same point, I do understand that Dryden had to article.
He did.
By a certain time, or he wouldn't be able to be accepted as a lawyer. So I think it worked out conveniently. I think it was, Dryden, I mean, he's, you talk about a cyber intellectual.
No.
I mean, Dryden was probably going, okay, you won't pay me the money I want.
I'm going
and two, I got an article. I got to get this done. So guess what? Let's do it now.
So there you go. So it's kind of worked out, right? Now I'm in a dispute. Let them play without me. I'm going to article and then nothing.
Because at one point
cousin over there.
He also knew he was going to fall back and be a lawyer.
Yes,
which he didn't like being, and so he became an author.
No, he's a great author.
Well, really, he didn't really enjoy being in law, and so he left it and became an author and wrote probably the signature book on the sport for at least 20, 30 years called The Game.
Yeah, we had a question, a trivia question about another book that was written by
Misha Dryden?
No, we had a question about who wrote the book about how to play hockey. I think it was Vesna who wrote it.
Who wrote the Book of Love? Jacques Plante.
Jacques Plante, that's who it was.
Monsieur Plante.
The book about hockey.
And we'll talk about Jacques a little later as well tonight.
Jacques. No. He said
because we are goalie centric.
That's what happens here. Is John played goalie? So he says I picked Bunny LaRocque and Jeff Hackett, but I'm sure I'm wrong for that question. Last week it was Price and Thomas.
Yes,
that was a tough trivia question. My second guess, excuse me, would be Price Thomas. I know I can't pick two, but I just did. Hey, Vinny, you can do whatever you want. So, yeah, you don't care. Pick three.
Within reason.
Yeah, pick all three. But either way, it was Thomas and Price. Now, Phil Grenier, Habs Hockey. A new messenger here. Much love, boys.
Merci.
Uh-oh. No. I just started my own channel about the Habs, too, on Quebecois. Would appreciate the support. Thanks, fellas. Congrats to Phil. I'm saying congratulations, Phil, for having your en Quebecois, which means in French, right? He does his show in French. I think that's what he's saying.
I don't know.
In Quebec.
It's in Quebec.
In Quebec, but he probably does it in French.
In Quebec.
He says, and I says, great. I'm going to check out his channel.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out today.
Yeah, and if it's in Quebecois, well, I won't understand it, so I'll watch you smiling and talking. I definitely subscribed. I already did subscribe to it.
Did you?
Yep, and look forward to checking it out. Thanks, Phil. We appreciate you subscribing, and we definitely will share the love because, hey, the more people who talk about the Habs, the happier we are.
It's fabulous.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous. So there you go. There are comments for this week. So if you have any comments or anything, leave them. We love to hear from people, and we always talk about the comments on the show.
And they they give us ideas sometimes, which is great. If there's things you'd like us to talk about, let us know. Yeah, we're very open to the input.
Yeah, and I like when Vinny Houdon or anybody corrects us, because a lot of times we sit here and do the show and we do have notes in that. I mean, obviously I have notes, but sometimes we get into other areas where we're not sure of the answer, and we don't look it up in Wikipedia. We just go from memory.
Well, we go from memory, and memory sometimes can shade reality.
Exactly. So when we get corrected, like Vinny when he said about Ken Dryden, that's awesome. Thank you very much.
But again, with the Dryden thing, I seriously remember him saying, "It's time for me to be a lawyer."
Yeah.
And there is legally he had to article by a certain time after he had received his degree.
And thank goodness he came back to win those 4 Stanley Cups in a row in the late 70s.
Absolutely.
Okay, the games. Let's get to some of the games here. We had 3 games this week. We played Dallas, and we lost 2-1 in a shootout. Tremendous game to watch. This was a really, really good game to watch. Washington we played first.
Let's go.
I got.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Well, Vinny Houdon,
excited.
Vinny Houdon and Phil Grenier made me all excited. Washington away.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. We were away. We were on the road. We won 3-2 in overtime. Dobis was in net. Check. Suzuki ready for the overtime winner. Check. Caulfield scores. Check. Hudson is a magician with the puck. Check. Anderson gets one. Well, we can't always check that box, but tonight we did. That night we did, and we won the game since he got the go-ahead shorty. I love it. Eller tied it, and he comes back to haunt us, of course. And Mon Capitaine, the lead moustique. You know what a moustique is?
A mustache.
No, moustique is a mosquito.
Oh.
The lead mosquito settled all family business at 1:15 of overtime for the second game in a row. The one guy, Hudson, was the lead moustique all night. He set up the OT winner, broke CC and Susie out. There are games we would have lost on one short year ago by 1 goal, and this would have been one of them. Times have certainly changed for the Habs. John, what do you think of that game?
I mean, it was an excellent game. Again, and who was in goal?
Dobish.
So there you have it. I mean, we've got another goaltender who we can rely on, which is great.
He hasn't lost yet.
He hasn't lost a game.
Not good.
And the team is playing extremely well, and
yes,
they can play from behind, and they can win the game in overtime. Amazing. I mean, that was the 3rd game of overtime, I think, in a row.
Yeah, it was the Susie
which they had won.
Yeah, it's amazing. These games would have went the other way last year, and that's the difference between this year. And, at the beginning of the season, that's what we said. We got to take these 1-goal games, and we have to win them. If we're ahead by 1 with a couple minutes left, we have to hang on. We have to find a way, and we're doing it.
And that's a game 2, the first line won. And again, the PK. So, this time it happened to be Anderson contributing on the PK. That's powerful stuff.
Oh,
you've got special teams, you've got your first line, you've got your goaltending. There are so many things that are clicking right now for this team.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing. Usually when I see a team like this in January ripping off a bunch of wins and that, I say, they peaked too early. But our game is a little bit different. I'm not saying that now, and the reason I'm not saying that is because it's been a progression. Like, we've seen them improving. We've seen our players coming back. We see these guys that we expected to play a little bit better. A guy, say, like Doc, who right now is doing fantastic. And, I mean, he was out all last year, so it took him 2 or 3 months to get on track.
It took him some time to get on track.
Yeah.
And thankfully, someone had the patience to believe in him and allow him and help him reclaim the form that we expected him to have as he tries to reach, because I don't think he's reached it yet.
No.
His ceiling.
No, I don't think he has either. He's going to be a force at some point. But it's funny because MSL ever gave up on Doc. I mean, the team never gave up on Doc, and although some fans were giving up on him, he's what is he, 22 years old?
I think he might be a titch older than that. I think he might be 24.
Yeah,
but
so
we are kind of like quick to judge. We're very quick to judge, but you've got to remember, guys like MSL and Ken Hughes, like they're living in this 24/7, and so they, again, it's like if you create a plan, if you don't stick with it, there's no way you'll ever fulfill it.
Yeah, and Marty St. Louis, I'm kind of wishy-washy with him as coach, but the one thing about Marty St. Louis is he really, really does, not maybe so much publicly, but in the background, hold players responsible. I'm sure he's had a couple of talks with Doc, helping him out and getting him to buy in that he's got to be part of all this.
Let's talk about that real quickly for a second.
Yeah, let's do
the culture of it, okay? So recently, there's been a lot of games. There are a lot of playoff games going on in the NFL, okay? And you're seeing teams being eliminated. And as soon as those teams are being eliminated, in many responses, the first gesture is to get rid of the coach. But sometimes you're seeing incidents happen on the sidelines, and the only teams that get upset on the sidelines and start fighting on the sidelines are teams that are not under control by their coach. So MSL is setting a tone for this team for behavior behind the bench, and that needs to be respected.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so we move on to the Dallas game, which I was so excited about. I wanted to talk about it first. We were at home. We lost 2-1 in a shootout, but a tremendous game to watch with the Habs going up 1-0 on a Laine power play goal in the second period. Ben tied it in the second. Jamie Benn.
Yeah, I mean, great to see Laine score.
Yep.
First of all, as soon as he comes back, he's putting that puck behind the goaltender.
Yeah, that's right. He's back. Patrick Hu is back.
Ben, what a great player.
He's fantastic.
What a great player.
He's just, and he's good all around the ice. Last night, he was really taking it.
Not only that, what a leader.
Yeah. Well, he's good.
And what a smart player.
Yeah, and the score stood through the third. Kudos to Sammy. He held the fort on the first one. In the first one, Dallas outshot the Habs 16-7.
Sammy played amazing.
That game could have been broken open huge in the first period with 16-7 in the shots.
Monty made a save, I think, in the first period where he had to go from the left side of his crease to the right as they were trying to do a wraparound. I believe that was in that Dallas game, and it was an amazing save.
Yeah, it was. He closed it off.
And what was interesting for me as a goalie watching him, he didn't have his foot on the post to push off. He pushed off with just sheer force off the ice and got to that post in time. That was really, I was like totally impressed.
Yeah, and Dallas has got a really good goaltender at Oettinger. And,
Dallas has a really good team.
Yeah, they have a really good team. So, I mean, they went into overtime. They go to the shootout, and we lost in the shootout.
Well, I mean, Laine got the first shootout opportunity. Now, I think that's part of MSL's, like, you have to have a reward system. So if you scored a goal,
you're going out.
You get an opportunity to take a shot. Laine would never be my first choice to go out and take a shootout, but so be it.
They blow my mind because they do this dipsy doodle going to the boards and come. These guys have tremendous shots. Laine could pick a corner on a goalie before the goalie could move his glove. Why don't they just go down and shoot?
Well, first of all, Laine is a goal scorer.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But, almost all the goals that Laine's been getting have been coming from the face-off circle on the left. And there are also goals that are like during power plays where the goalie has got to be moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. When you're coming down on the shootout, if you come on straight on, there's nothing there to see because the angle is cut off. and that's why you're getting the dipsy doodle of guys coming down the wall and then swinging across,
Trying to move the goalie. Yeah?
Exactly, trying to get the goalie to move out of his angle, basically. And the thing is, CC did it the game before, and he scored.
Yeah.
So this time he did it, and he didn't score.
Yeah,
so it's a very tough call. But as you get closer to the goalie, you can't shoot it, or you've got to start to have a deep plan, and that's key.
Yeah,
you more than anything, you kind of need to know what you're doing.
Go down there and pretend you're going to take a slap shot, right? And when the goalie ducks,
possible,
just slide it in.
Easier said than done. I mean, if you were like MSL and you could tell whoever on the bench to go do that, and it was in, it'd be like, wow,
this guy's a genius. But anyway, we shut us out. And what are you going to do, right?
I'll say, as far as that game goes, what was interesting was the goal that Dallas got, and for me, I mean, Carrier blew out a tire in the ozone. So now we're coming back, and Ben is leading a 2-on-1 break against Gooley. And Ben had already gone down that left wing prior to that, and Monty had beat him. Well, Ben is so good, so smart, that he said, okay, I'm beating you this time. I know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
He went top shelf as Monty fell to his knees, and the story. I mean, and what I will say is, brilliant. At one point, as we get closer and closer to the rebuild, as we're about that year to 2 years away from that cup, we need to have an elite veteran like a Ben on this team. Whether we develop one or acquire one, that's what. And it's just like the guy who played last year for Florida with Tkachuk. That's the type of player we'll have to bring in.
Well, Hughes isn't done yet.
No, we're far from done.
Yeah,
we're buyers right now. This is part of that 3 to 4 year build. Okay,
yeah, but we're buyers right now in the NHL.
But that's part of that 3 to 4 year build.
The trade deadline's in another month and a half. March 1st, I think it is. So in the next month and a half, we are buyers because we are in line to get into playoffs. We can make that spot. We'll talk about that later, but. That means we're buyers. We're not looking for last place. We're looking for a wild card spot. We may get a player like that sooner than you think. Let me just put a warning out there.
C'est possible.
C'est possible. I don't care what Drew Deeks says.
Oh, and Drew Deeks did say something.
Did he? Oh, okay. With our buddy Drew Deeks, he can't be here, but he's here in spirit. Yeah, always is.
Drew mailed this in, actually.
He mailed it.
He mailed it in.
He mailed it. The mails. Oh, yeah, that's right. They're back to work, the mails.
Yeah, okay. he mailed it in. He said Dadanov is on Dallas right now. And yes, he did play for us.
There you go.
So there you go. Thank you, Monsieur Deeks.
Thank you, Drew Deeks. He's on Dallas right now, and he did play for Habs. You know what? He couldn't have been there long. I don't remember even the guy skating.
I don't know.
Well, Drew knows. That's why we got
Drew knows.
So we go to Utah. We take a trip to Utah. And here's one thing that Marty St. Louis did that was smart. He sent the team there a day before and let them get accustomed
acclimatize.
To the time change and that kind of thing. He sent the team there, but poor Heineman.
I was going to say, but Heineman got hit.
Yeah, but it showed in the game because it was a weird game to watch when I was watching it last night, John. I always knew the Habs are going to win. I knew they were going to win this game. You could tell just by watching the game. They were the ones. But it was a helter-skelter kind of game.
Well, I mean, here's what I will say. I mean, I didn't realize that he'd sent them in. I guess I should have known because
he did.
Here they were playing cards, and Heineman doesn't play cards, I guess. So he was out and about and got hit by a car.
That's wild.
So that being said,
it's not funny. It's not funny.
No, it's not funny. And
it's
keep your eyes open, right? Like you any place you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully he wasn't.
Careful.
Hopefully he wasn't on his phone.
What the hell? In Utah,
okay? Hopefully he wasn't on his phone.
Hey, in Utah, he could have got hit by a horse.
Good point.
Holy
good
crap!
Point. Well presented.
The hell are you gonna do in Utah?
I mean,
why go out in Utah?
You you and your mom could have been NHL stars, because they could have sent you in a day early, and you guys would have been playing cribbage.
That's right.
So I mean, like, what a life, eh? A professional hockey player. Yeah, we're going to send you in a day early. You can play cards.
You can play cards and be safe. Heineman, listen. But it was a weird game, and I just thought they were the better team the whole game. And as it went on, they slowly took over the game.
The weird part was the first period, because they outshot us like something like 14-2 or something like that.
I don't think it was that bad.
It was.
The shots were even at the end of the game.
At the end of the game, they were.
I don't think we got outshot that bad in the first. Oh, we had a lot of penalties, though. We had 4 penalties in the first period right away.
We took 4 penalties. Correct.
That's probably why the shots were so lopsided.
It was not good.
But I don't know. I just felt they were the better team. And they skated great, Montreal. Matheson got one. Doc had a pair. Thank goodness. Kirby Doc, way to go, buddy. Caulfield got his 24th. Laine got his first 5-on-5 goal of the season, his 10th overall. Sammy played a so-so game. He only had an 880, but
we were outshot 25-20 overall.
Okay. And what's the first period?
I got to get to that.
Le premier period.
Not there yet, but go. Okay, continue.
Okay, and you can just tell Habs were the better team. They were going to win this one, and of course they did. And our second line, John, mamma mia, we could turn this. This could be our best line. Holy, 3 of the 5 goals came from that line, and like we said before, that was something that we expected. We said this second line could turn out to be better than the first, and that's a stretch because the first line is fantastic too with Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slafkovsky. I mean, we're doing it all right now. Let's face it, everything's being done right. We're never giving up. We're putting pucks in the net. We're down to like minus 12 now. It's half of what we were a month ago. So we're on the right direction. And the stats will prove it when we get to the stats later on. What did you think of that game, though, overall, John?
I love the game. Really enjoyed the game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
I thought Monty during the first period was amazing. I thought he played stellar. I know he didn't get as many shots, but he made fabulous saves.
He did.
He made like they were great goal opportunities. So sometimes you'll get shots and they're not goal opportunities. He was making saves on pure goal opportunities.
Especially when you spend the 8 minutes in the sin bin.
Lonnie gets 5-on-5. So, that monkey is now off his back.
Yeah, that's so good to see that.
You know what, really, like Lonnie's shot, or Lanny's shot, is so hard. I don't know how many goals he scored with the puck hitting the goalie getting a piece of that puck, and it still carries into the net.
Yeah, you know what I like about it, too?
That's impressive.
Almost all of his shots, when he shoots it, are on net. He doesn't miss the net too much. He's pretty good about getting his shots on goal. Because I know a lot of the guys get shots, and a lot of them miss the net, but he doesn't. He gets it.
Carrier, again, impresses.
Another great guy. And goalie.
Utah had like a 2-on-1 opportunity, and Carrier stood them up and actually took the puck away. I mean, how many times last year did we talk about guys, flopping down on the ice like Whale on the Beach and basically getting scored on? Carrier, he's a whole different ball player or puck player. He knows how to go against a 2-on-1 in a different way, and I'm so impressed by his performance on defense. And enough can't be said about his contribution at this point. And
he made a huge difference with Gooley too. Ever since he's got here, Gooley's been a beast. He's been fantastic. This kid, he's got a lot of upside yet to go, right? Ceiling. Yeah. You called it ceiling, right?
Doc had an amazing second period.
Oh, he did. Kirby Doc's playing great hockey.
And we hit lots of posts as well. I mean, score, this game could have been easily 7-3.
Yeah, we hit a couple of dingers there within about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Now, and we've had 4 games in overtime, right? And finally, this game wasn't played in overtime. So that's kind of something that we have to start to concentrate on. We don't want to always have to play overtime games. So, last year we talked about the big movement. This year was like moving from only getting 1 point to 2 points. Now let's just get 2 points and the other team doesn't get any points.
Yeah, that's the
So
best.
that's something that we have to strive towards. But that being said, this team is making small steps every game.
Yeah, and it's so nice to see us. I mean, we got 5 out of 6 points. So, and Dallas was the tough one, and we got 5 out of 6 points, and we got 2 points against Washington. I mean, they're a first place team too. So, if you look at their last 13 games, and you see the teams we've played, it's almost like winning 4 points because a lot of the teams that are ahead of us, Boston and teams like Columbus, they're going to go into these houses and they're going to probably lose, but we won. So it's going to be huge, and we're catching up fast because of that fact. And they still got to play these teams.
And speaking to your point as well as Marty bringing the team in early a day before.
Yep.
So they definitely know that they're playing these. I think it's like 4 weeks in a row that we play back to back. So they're making those considerations to give the team the opportunity to be rested.
Now we got a back-to-back this weekend coming up.
Exactly. So they're constantly worried about preparation, which is great. Like their concerns, the management is behind this team. They're trying to give them every opportunity, every type of tool to be successful.
Yeah, and that's good. It's really neat though when you have a guy like MSL, like he sees the problem of traveling to Utah for a game, and so what are we going to do? We're going a day early, and we're going to get acclimatized to the time change and everything else. So that's great thinking. That's great strategy right there. Most coaches maybe wouldn't have done that, but he knows the way it works because he's done it so many times. That helps. It really does.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous.
So some statistics. Habs are now 21-18-4. So we jumped that 500 mark that I wanted to be at the beginning of December. Now we're over it. And that's after 43 games, so half the schedule is gone. We're over 50% of the games. And we're right in the mix for a wild card spot, 2 points behind the Columbus Blue Jackets. And this is the important one. Only 3 points behind the Boston Bruins with 3 games in hand on them. So we're 3 points behind, and we have 3 games in hand. So
what was that? What did we used to say back in the 60s when we would actually come to Queen Street and we would bring our little slot cars and we would race them?
Yes, up on Steele's Hobby.
Right, Steele's. And what would we say? Eat my dust. Right? We used to say, eat my dust.
And we'd send the car down the track. Well, with 3 games in hand, you can see how important any meetings with Boston are.
Chopper, eat my dust.
Chopper. Boston's they beat Washington the other night, or I think one of the teams like that. Tampa maybe they beat, and I was going, oh man, I wish I would have lost that game. But you know what? We're there, and the fate is going to land in our own hands.
That's the key.
That's the key.
That's the key. Look after your own business. Look after your own shop, and everything will be fine.
Yep.
And by the way, 14-3, we were outshot in the first period last night.
Those power plays. 4 power plays.
So Monty kept us in that game.
He did. Oh, he played a great game. He only had an 880 though. I was surprised. I thought he was maybe well over 9.
Because we shut them down in the second and third period for shots.
So they didn't have a lot of shots.
They scored 2 goals on 14.
Yeah. So there you go. Now, what else we got? 3 games in hand. So tough stand this week, though. We have 4 games coming up. What
do you mean tough stand? Come on,
oh, it's gonna be a back.
We just went through the terrible 11 or the controversial 8. What was it? I can't remember.
Lucky 11,
right?
But now we have to face the Leafs on Saturday.
Leafs
and the Rangers.
The Leafs are nobody
on Sunday.
The Leafs are lucky to be in the league still.
Yeah, I know you say that, but for some bizarre reason,
they got blown out last night.
Yeah, they got beat. Yeah, they got beat last night.
By who?
They got beat last night by who? Dallas. That's right. And we took them to a point. Got a point out of them.
We took them to shootout.
So we'll see what happens on Saturday. But I can never predict Toronto Maple Leaf games.
Look, that guy needs a hat.
He's got a Leafs hat.
He's got some crap on the front of his hat. I don't know what that is.
Well, it means that he had a brick fall in his head at some point in his life.
He needs a new hat.
He needs a new hat. But yeah, I'm looking at this back to back against the Leafs and the Rangers. Like if anybody I'd be saying is crappy right now is the Rangers. They've been doing terrible. They're the team that I think we can beat for sure.
Oh, I think we can beat Toronto.
And Toronto's been playing crappy too.
We're playing in Montreal. Both games?
We play Toronto at home and Rangers at home, back to back, Saturday, Sunday.
Back to back at home.
Yes.
In the evening. Ooh la la.
And then we play Tampa after that at home.
Très bien.
And then we go to Dallas and play Dallas again.
That'll be an interesting game. That'll be a tough game.
It's going to be a fun game.
That will be the tough game.
And that is tomorrow, I believe.
Yes, that's the tough game.
That's going to be a good one. I can't wait to face them again because, we're really close to winning that game. And maybe this time we'll pull it out. But we got Dallas, Toronto, Rangers, and Tampa, John. So what do you think we're going to do here?
Well, I think we're going to win all 4 games.
Okay. I never put an L beside your name here. I never put an
Well,
L.
you have once, I think. I think it was one time this year.
But
seriously,
time I'm gonna agree with you.
We got to where we want to be. Yeah. This is where we want to be. We want to believe we can win every game that we play, and comfortably we can say that.
But I think that Dallas this time could end up being another overtime game.
Dallas is going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I think we could do another overtime against
we're traveling to Dallas. It's going to be a tough game.
Now, Toronto, I'm saying we can win. I'm saying we can win that game.
Yeah.
But you know what? I can never predict it because these Leafs are pesky too. Rangers, we should beat them. They're on the downtrend, man. They're not playing good hockey at all. And Tampa, well, of course, Tampa's another one of those teams that have been losing, and they're a little bit long in the tooth. I think Montreal's just a little bit quicker than they are, and I think we can win that. So I think in these next 4 games, I think we could win them all. We have the possibility of winning them all.
Yeah, we're on top of the world, you know?
Yeah, right now we are. Now, what's your goaltender choices here? This is going to be interesting.
So again, we're playing in Dallas.
Yeah, so
I guess you're going to play Dobas.
Okay.
Because, you just played them you just played Dobas, Sammy. So I'm playing Dobas in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing
Shammy.
I'm playing Monty in Toronto against Toronto because it's a Saturday night game. We're still giving Monty the good game. And then I'm playing Dobas on Sunday against the Rangers. His first start in La Ville de Montréal.
Yep, and home ice. He's going to get one of the two.
And then back to Monty for the Tuesday night game against Tampa.
So there you go. And you said last week you'd like to see 50-50
I'd love to see 50-50.
So you got it.
So let's hope so.
There you go. You got it. We'll see what the picks are. We can never predict MSL. He might play Sammy against Dallas and play Dobish against Toronto. Who knows?
Here's something I want to see is Emil Heineman now is out.
Yes.
Okay? So last night, Michael Pezzetta filled in.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. Pezzetta got a penalty in the first period right away. I think he got the first penalty of the game.
Yeah, and that was the first goal, I think, too.
Well, the second penalty created the goal because it was a 5-on-3. Okay?
Oh, right.
Okay? But Pezzetta spent 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the ice last night.
Yeah,
So, and I understand that. I get that from an MSL perspective. But you're also, at one point, you still have another 40 games to go. You can't keep playing games like this. So when are we going to get somebody brought up from Laval? There's a guy named Joshua
Wawa.
There's a guy named Owen Beck. I think there's another guy in that mix that when are we going to bring up somebody from Laval and give, and that was perfect because Heineman was on the 4th line. So it's not like you're trying to put Pez on the 1st or 2nd line to fill in for somebody because you don't want to disrupt the lines. So now you've got an opening in the 4th line. It's time to bring somebody up and let them play 10 minutes.
You know who I'd like to see?
No, I don't.
Florian Jacki.
Well, it may be a little early for Florian Jacki, but I'd love to see Joshua Waugh try to make another attempt to crack this line.
Whatever happened to? By the way, I want to talk to you about something.
Okay.
Whatever happened to Sauce? Yeah, I haven't heard nothing about that guy. He's injured.
He's injured, and that's
but-
all I know. I don't know enough. I mean, we'd have to go dig a little deep.
Yeah,
but I'm sure he's in recovery stage. I'm sure he's working out. Just like there's a defenseman that we drafted a year ago in the first round called Reinbacher.
Yes.
I haven't heard anything about his recovery as well.
No.
So if anybody out there is listening, if they can tell us about recovery efforts for Reinbacher and Sauce, we'd more than welcome the comments.
Yeah, that's Harvey Pinard, by the way, HP. Harvey Pinard. We call him Sauce because HP Sauce, right? So we call him Sauce.
So that's what I see. Now,
I would rather have that and give them 8 or 9 minutes of time on that fourth line than Pez at 3. I mean, that's ridiculous.
A couple things I want to go over.
Okay.
One is, again, we made a major move this week, or within this week. We made a major signing.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Who?
We signed a face-off specialist.
Oh, yeah?
A fellow named Mark Barreau, who played 567 games in the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
Who we've used as a consultant already this year for a period of time. But now we have signed him to be with the team for the rest of the year.
Is he playing?
He's a coach. He is a consultant for taking face-offs.
Oh, good. We could use that.
Okay. So the Habs right now stand at 21st overall.
In face-offs. Percentage. Okay.
Okay. They're 49.9%.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're under 500. Okay. And they're 21st ranked in the league. We brought Mark Barreau in maybe a month ago to talk to the team about face-offs specifically for a little period of time. And that's when we were 25th.
Okay, so we see an improvement.
And we were 47.6. So after he came in and consulted, we did see an improvement. And so what are face-offs all about? They're really about getting puck possession.
That's what you need.
And that is so important.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, if you watched the game on Saturday night when we started the overtime, we had a player named Dvorak out playing 3-on-3. Why? Because he went out to get the face-off. Because Dvorak actually has a 55.8 face-off percentage win.
Wow.
The highest of the entire team.
Good.
You know, I mean, we know Jake Evans is a great face-off specialist, and how important it is that he's winning face-offs during the PK.
Right.
Because he's out for the PK. You know, that's one of his roles within the team. But Susie is 49.1 and Doc is only 38.2.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
So again, the Montreal management are saying, okay, what can we do for this team? How can we help them further develop? Here's a tool, like let's bring in a consultant. Now that we have the team moving, they're buying into what we've been speaking to, the way we want the games played. They're seeing the success. Now we can bring in other little details that they will embrace because they know we are being successful. And so I think that's the beauty of that. They let Doc basically really come around to, like, you know, I think if you told Doc, okay, we want you to spend time on face-offs, he'd be going, wait a second. Like, if you did this 2 months ago, you'd go, I need to put the puck in the net. You know, I don't even want to worry about my face-offs. I want to put the puck in the net. So now that he is, what a great time to say, okay, you know, now let's deal with this part of your game. And so very smart on the team as they slowly bring people in, and this rebuild is step by step.
Yeah, and you know, we always had a good face-off. We had Philip Deneau. He was fantastic in the face-off circle. But if we can get these guys even up to 50%, the ones that are below it, and then get a couple that are over 50, like 55, or maybe even
or
more.
Even 60, and that's a guy like we have a guy named Owen Beck who works face-offs really well. That's important. So that as if you want to get to be one of the elite teams in the top 8, this is the type of thing that you need to improve on. So again, I'm so glad that we made this signing.
Well, face-offs are always about possession. You get possession.
Absolutely.
And the more you have it, the better off you are. The puck is always better on your stick than the opposing team's stick.
Exactly, and the opposing team can't score if they don't have the puck.
That's it.
Again, now we have the management who continue to identify needs and actually do something about that. It's one thing to know what you need; it's another thing to fix it.
To fix it, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point there, John.
Now, the other thing that was interesting on Saturday night was we saw a goalie named Montembeault take the ice with a brand new mask.
Yep. Yeah, he had a new mask on.
A fabulous looking mask designed by Jordan Bourgeot, I believe is the way he says his name.
Bourgeot.
Now, Monsieur Jordan actually designed a mask for a goalie back in 2021 named Carey Price. And it was a bit of a strange, it was a cyberborg type mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Carey played with it for a few games, but didn't stay with that mask. Now, the mask that Monty has a little more Montreal identity. So
it's Montreal centric.
Absolutely. Canadian, more like Canadian centric for sure. And what's beautiful about that mask is that if you look at it on the top, one side is the original Jacques Plante mask. If you're looking at it, like if you're looking at Monty, on the left side that you would be looking at will be the Plante mask, the original Plante mask, and the other mask on the right-hand side is the Ken Dryden mask.
Yeah, pretty cool.
If you look at the very top of the mask, you'll actually see the Plante mask that was that looked a bit like the it was the webbing kind of mask. Okay, so when you look down at the top, and there's some really nice elements going on in that mask. If you look at the cage, he's drawn on the mask so that the cage extends. So that's something that Jordan put towards for the mask, and he's extremely excited about, and he'll explore that idea as he does other people's masks. Yeah, they call that the Plante waffle mask. If you look at the top of it, okay?
I remember that mask.
Yeah, very famous mask. And he has digital display screens on the mask that say Habs Montreal Canadiens. One says 1909, which was the year the team was formed. One says 93, about the last time that we won a Stanley Cup. And another one has the dressing room speech of, from these hands we pass the torch.
Yep.
The famous speech from Flanders Fields.
Yeah.
So the straps on the mask that are used to secure it to Monty's head have been painted so that they look like circuit ribbons from like a computer. And so there's a lot of detail to this mask and some beautiful Canadian logos as well. The mix of blue, blanc, and rouge is superb. It's a fabulous piece of artwork. So kind of neat.
Tell them to send me one.
And the back plate.
Tell them to send me one.
And the back plate has Monty's dogs on it. Half of it is one dog, and half it is the other dog's face.
The north end and the south end.
So I mean, the mask itself. If you go on YouTube and Google Monty's mask, you will you'll find a 3-4 minute video with all the details I've described, but you'll actually see them.
Yeah, I have a hard time getting excited about a mask. I just care.
Being a goalie, I get very excited about a mask. Okay,
see me, and stop the puck. That's all. I don't care about his mask. He could be wearing a old football helmet if he could.
Well, it's important to have a good mask because it makes you feel good when you put it on. And the beauty of this mask is it speaks to the longevity and the heritage of the greatest hockey team in all of the National Hockey League.
So you love it.
Say magnifique.
Well, you should marry it.
Say très bon.
You should marry it if you love
it. Say très bon.
Okay, les trois étoiles.
Well, les trois.
That's great information, by the way. That's fantastic investigative reporting on it. I knew he had a new mask, but I never knew all that was involved with it. So that's something.
It is something.
It's something, man. Like you say, masks are becoming a piece of art, like an art piece of art.
It's become an accepted.
It's like you, an octogenarian piece of art.
It's become an accepted piece of art.
Yes.
I mean, one of our good friends, Mark Lindsay,
graphic artist.
Painted one of my masks as per the first Ken Dryden paint job.
There you go.
C'est magnifique.
So the mask will make the Hall of Fame. Monty might not. Okay.
But you know what? If Monty continues to play like he's playing, him and Dobis are my first star, my Premier Étoile.
Okay.
Because they played so well over the last 3 games.
Yeah, I got to give you credit for that. I got to agree with you there.
My deuxième étoile is, again, the management at MSL. All the things that they're doing for this team, bringing in this face-off expert, like continuing to support the team, like, you know, the little things of like bringing them in early, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like you can't say enough about that support given to a hockey team. Okay?
Valid.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And my number, troisième étoile, well, I'm going to give you 3 players for the troisième étoile. Lanny's back. Kirby Dach is on fire. And Cole Caulfield never, is so steadfast. I mean, he continues to put the puck in the net. He got 2 goals out of 3 in 3 games.
And, we're getting to be repetitive, but it is what it is.
C'est très bien.
It's fabulous.
I can live with winning games. Winning every game. I can live with that.
Well, my 3 stars are number 1, Liney. He had a triumphant return from whatever he had wrong with him. He's back, and although we won without him, which is great because we have some depth. It's great to have him back because he adds another dimension to this team for sure. My number 2 star was Kirby Dach. Continues to develop in the player Hughes thought he could be. And I love to see him doing well because he's going to be a big part of our future. And we need him to do this kind of thing, like score goals and be better in the face-off circle with Mr. Bureau.
Great. And he's living up to the ceiling that we expect him to reach.
Yeah, this is what we were hoping. And the third one is Gooley Houston. Gooley Hudson.
Gooley Hudson.
Gooley Hudson. How lucky are we to have these 2 defenders? I'm telling you that right now. I don't know how Habs came up with the pick for Hudson. They did, and now we're reaping the benefits of a guy who's going to be a superstar in this league. He's only 20 years old. He hasn't even started his career yet.
And you know what I like about Lane Hudson he's never gotten the attention that a guy named Connor Bedard got 2 years ago, coming into the NHL. And so I love that because Lane Hudson is like so multidimensional.
He's like a secret weapon or something. I just look at it and go, every time he plays, when he touches the puck, how many people just follow a certain player? You watch the game on the whole, right? But when he touches the puck, I watch him.
But not only that, Lane's game is evolving because he's not getting caught up ice like he used to. He's not going too deep. He's doing the things that are there for him to take, which is MSL's philosophy since the beginning. Is take what's available and work with that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And my only wish is that somehow we would have got his brother, Cole Hudson, because he's going to be just as good. So, but man, oh man, Gooley and Hudson, what a pair. And they're going to be around for a while doing some great things for the Montreal Canadiens. And on that note, we're getting out of here.
Bonsoir.
We've blown through our
Good
hour
evening.
here, but it was nice to be with you for this hour. My name is Paul K. Lemire.
Yeah. Je suis Jean-Louis Filion.
And we are HABSOLUTELY coming to you live from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Go to 4680Q.com to listen to our show live at noon, or you can check it out later on our YouTube channel right there.
Big game on Thursday. We've got to recognize that we have to play that game and win, but I can't wait for Saturday.
It's going to be a great game against the Leafs.
And that is Hockey Day in Canada.
It's Hockey Day in Canada. You can watch hockey all day if you want.
You know, Hockey Day in Canada. I mean, let's face it, everybody loves Canada. Everybody's coming to Canada. Keith Urban played at the Horseshoe Tavern in Canada the other night.
Wow.
C'est magnifique.
He played down here in the Falls a few years ago. Keith Urban's great. But anyway, we got to get out of here. Take care, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
Subscribe to our channel. hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, leave some comments. We'll see you next week at noon on Habsolutely on 4680Q.
Go Habs, go.
Go Habs, go. Big week for all of us. Take care, everybody. We will see you later. Au revoir.